Hello crafty friends, do you have gallons of glitter gathering dust in your craft room? If you do, then the next few videos on my channel will be perfect for you, I hope. Because we're going to be looking at lots of different ways to get glitter on our cards and other papercraft projects. I thought I'd start by showing you my very meagre, really glitter stash. I keep it in this little tub all together, keeps the glitter in one place, stops it wafting around my craft room. And I keep this clear PVA glue with it, and the reason why will become obvious later in the video. So these glitters are from Sticks 2, and I got these because they're biodegradable. I've got gold, copper, silver, blue, pink and white. These are also from Sticks 2, they're iridescent. I'm not sure these are biodegradable. These definitely are, not sure about these. This is some really chunky mother of pearl iridescent glitter that I bought a long time ago from Amazon. And these two I picked up from my crafty charity shop. This is Hunky Dory Diamond Sprinkles in Fairy Daydreams, and it's a very, very fine iridescent glitter. And this is Cosmic Shimmer Glitter Bits in Frosted Sparkle, and it is a very kind of chunky, flaky sparkle with some small bits. So that's my glitter stash. If you'd like to share a photo of your glitter stash, you can do that in two ways. You can come to my Facebook group and post a photo there. You can also share it on my community page here on YouTube. It's a relatively new feature that allows viewers to make posts on my community page, but you have to do it via a mobile app, not via the desktop. As I said, there are several videos in this little mini series. In today's video, we'll look at using glitter with wet glue. In the next video, we'll look at using glitter with double-sided adhesive. After that, we'll look at using glitter with heat embossing. And in the final video of the series, we'll be looking at some of the ways of using glitter that I haven't covered, but were shared with me by members of my Facebook group. So if you'd like to watch any of those videos, do subscribe and ring the notification bell. And without further ado, we'll get into glitter and wet mediums. One of my very favourite ways of using glitter is to make my own glitter glue or glitter paste, because it's not very messy. The glitter gets trapped in the glue and doesn't go flying around the room. So I use the clear PVA as a general rule. Because it's clear, I can mix my glitter in and know exactly what it's going to look like once it's on my card. So all I do is put some glue on my mat, sprinkle on the glitters that I want to add, use a palette knife to mix it well, and then it's ready to go. A really neat way of using this glitter glue glitter paste is to spread it on an embossing folder and then leave it to dry. And once it's dry, it will really easily peel off and you'll get a glittery, glossy, dimensional patterned blob, which you can then glue onto the front of a card. For this one, I did leave it overnight to dry. It's not a quick process, so it is worth giving it a good few hours to dry. But once it's dry, it comes off the embossing folder with no problem at all. Another of my favourite DIY glitter glue techniques is to spread glitter glue through a stencil. So I'm using my stamp wheel here just because I wanted a grip mat to hold my card and my stencil still. And I simply picked up the glitter glue with my palette knife, spread it through the stencils, and that left me with a really lovely sparkly dimensional pattern. And if I have any glitter glue left over, I just spread it on a bit of card, because I can use this maybe as a foundation spot for a focal point, or I could die cut from it. I do have a video in which I test lots of different glue type things with glitter to make some DIY glitter paste, so do check that out if you want to know more. One of the most obvious ways of using glitter is to sprinkle it on wet glue, but there's lots of different ways of applying wet glue. One of those ways is to use a brayer to roll wet glue onto your cardstock. You can get a lovely flat application of glue, or you can go for a more abstract pattern like I've done here. The first thing I sprinkled on my glue was some gold glitter. I made sure not to cover all the glue because then I sprinkled on some copper glitter and that stuck to the bits of glue that were still exposed. A really important aspect, I think, of adding glitter on top of glue is to burnish it in. Push that glitter into the glue and then it's less likely to rub off once the glue is dried. And to burnish the glitter into the glue on all of the projects I think that I do in this video, I just use some leftover release paper from some double-sided adhesive sheets. It's great because it's non-stick, so it won't pull anything off of the card, but it will allow you to really press that glitter down into the glue. As well as using a brayer to add glue to a flat piece of card, you can use a brayer to add glue to a dry embossed piece of card. So I ran this piece of card through my die cutting machine in an embossing folder, brayered glue over it so the glue mainly stuck to the raised parts of the pattern, and then I sprinkled on the gold and the copper glitter again and gave it a good burnish. If you want more embossing folder ideas, then check out my embossing folder cards playlist. There are loads there. If you've got an old brush that you don't mind getting gluey, you can brush the glue onto any card, dry embossed, flat, what have you, pattern paper, and then sprinkle your glitter over the top. This is a great way of getting glittery brush strokes, or you can just paint whatever shape you like and add glitter. Again, give it a good burnish using something non-stick so that that glitter really embeds into the glue. If you find that your glitter does shed even once the glue is dry, you can spray your project with a clear acrylic sealant or some kind of fixative. Another way of adding glue is to dip found items into the glue and then stamp them down onto a piece of card. I'm using bubble wrap here, so I pressed my bubble wrap into glue that I'd spread onto my mat, pressed the gluey bubble wrap onto the card and then sprinkled over pink glitter and burnished it again. You can use anything you like to stamp images like this. The world's your oyster. And now we're on to number 9, and that is to use your glue with a mask. So I've got some masking paper here. I've torn it to get a nice rough edge, and then I've stuck it on a piece of card and braid glue over the exposed area of card. I then removed the mask and sprinkled on some iridescent glitter. I burnished it with release paper again, and that's given me what looks like a snowy hillside, but you can use masking paper for anything. You can die cut shapes out of it, you can hand cut shapes out of it, and then add your glue, remove the paper, and then sprinkle on your glitter. We're going back to our childhood for number 10, and that is finger painting. Can be useful sometimes just to dip your finger in a bit of glue and dab it or rub it on something. For this one, I rubbed some glue down a torn edge of paper along a straight edge of paper, and I made some gluey fingerprints, arranging them in the shape of a butterfly. So it's as easy as that. Dip your finger in some glue, dab it, rub it, spread it on a piece of card, sprinkle on your glitter and burnish. If you've been around my channel for any time, you'll be very familiar with technique number 11, and that is to use a smoosher. If you want to know how to make a smoosher, I do have a video linked below with the instructions. For this one, put some glue on your palette, pick it up with your smoosher, smush it onto your cardstock, sprinkle over your glitter, burnish it with some non-stick paper. If you're like me and you love to splatter, then you'll enjoy the next one. Put some glue on your mat, dilute it with water so it's runny enough to splat with. Pick it up with a paintbrush and then splatter it on. Just hold your paintbrush over the cardstock, give it some good taps, and before the glue has dried, sprinkle over some glitter, burnish and then set aside to dry. Sponges are another fun way of adding glue. Just pick up some glue with a sponge. I'm using a sponge dauber here, but you can use any sponge you like, a makeup sponge, a kitchen sponge, a bathroom sponge, a natural sponge, and sponge it in any way you want. I'm just doing some more blobs here. If you press hard, you might find some areas of glue come out thicker than other areas, and that can be a nice bit of extra texture. You get some lumps and you get some dips. Again, sprinkle over your glitter. I didn't burnish this one because I didn't want to squish the lumpy bits. I didn't want to flatten the glue. So once it had dried, I did give it a couple of coats of fixative, and that stopped any glitter brushing off. For this next technique, we're using stamps. I've got a red rubber flower stamp here on an acrylic block. All I'm doing is dipping it into glue and then stamping it onto my card. I'm not going to get perfect impressions, but you are going to be able to tell that it is a flower. I sprinkled over pink glitter, shook it off, burnished it and set it aside to dry, and it came out really well. On to number 15 now, and that is to put glue through a stencil. So I used my gluey sponge again to sponge the glue through a star stencil. Once I took the stencil off, I sprinkled the glitter over, gave it a burnish, left it to dry. Some of the glitter stuck really well where I'd added more glue. Some of the glitter brushed off a bit where there was less glue to hold it. So I think the trick is trying to find the balance between too much glue that it splurges under your stencil, not enough glue that it can't grab the glitter. So it's a bit of trial and error, but I did find that those areas where there was some brushing off of glitter I could fix by spraying it with a fixative, and that held the glitter on. You can, for number 16, try putting transparent texture paste through a stencil and then removing the stencil and sprinkling over the glitter. This worked really well. The texture paste forms beautiful dimensional shapes. It works really well with stencils and it's really grabby. So once it's dried, that glitter doesn't go anywhere. You can also try some foil transfer gel. This is Deco Foil Transfer Gel Duo, I think it's called, and it's the kind of texture paste gel that you use with foil. But I let it dry for a couple of hours, and once it was dry and tacky, I sprinkled over the glitter, burnished it, and it grabbed the glitter really well. I've got no worries about that coming off. You can also sprinkle glitter on dimensional drops. I've got two glittery Nouveau drop bottles. I've got Gold Coast, which is clear with gold glitter, and White Blizzard, which is clear with iridescent glitter. These are the two that I put down first of all. Next, I added some Morning Dew. This is just clear. Then I added some white onto my card. And then I added some black Nouveau drops onto my card. Before they dried, I sprinkled on some gold glitter and then left them to set hard. And they grabbed onto the glitter really well. Obviously, you can't burnish these. If you try pressing it down while they're still wet, the drops will get squished, which defeats the purpose. But you can just sprinkle glitter on, leave them to set, and you'll get some lovely glittery domes or lines or whatever you do with it. I do have a 20 ways to use Nouveau drops or dimensional drops video. So if you'd like to watch that, then do check that out. You can also sprinkle glitter onto crystal glaze or glossy accents. Here I use crystal glaze and doodled a flower, wrote the word hi, I think I did a leaf as well, and sprinkled on some of that really chunky glitter. I set that aside to dry. Again, didn't burnish this because that would have squished my drawings. But once that was dry, that glitter wouldn't go anywhere. And our last technique today is to use a glue pen. I've got a Sticks 2 glue pen and a Zig glue pen, and they're very similar. You can write, you can draw with these, sprinkle on the glitter and leave them to dry, and the glitter will stay stuck to the writing or drawing that you've done with your glue pen. And there you go, our first 20 ways of getting glitter onto our cards. I hope you'll join me for the next video, which is all about using double-sided adhesive. And I hope you found this video helpful, and I'll see you back here for our next video. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.